Santa Cruz with Bad Blood Rising. We've just discovered that Julia has not corrected Dave's homework this week, so this is going to be interesting. 11 tracks for 43 minutes, third studio album from Finnish 4-piece, released via M Theory Audio and Sakara Records after switching over from Spine Farm. 2 singles look like they've been released so far, River Phoenix and Young Blood Rising. Hard to track down the further info. Go for it.
Santa Cruz was my number 1 album back in 2015, so my expectations for this was pretty high. Thankfully, they followed that album up with another quality release, and no, it's not just more of the same. The band has continued to grow. If you're unfamiliar with Santa Cruz, they're young, energetic, have a fuck ton of attitude, and they actually have the skill to back it up. If you are familiar with the band, you'll be pleased to know New Blood Rising has everything you'd expect from this band, and then some. As with all good bands, they're growing and expanding on what they do. It's not just because there's a couple of laid-back tracks on this album, which is a bit new territory for the band, but there's a song called Pure Fucking Adrenaline, which is probably the heaviest the band has ever sounded. It kind of reminded me a bit of Megadeth at times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just something in the guitar tone. As I said, there's a couple of laid-back songs, one being Breath, which has a string section and a whistled melody. Think Guns N' Roses' Patience, but completely different delivery. Fantastic songwriting on that one. So expanding their sound beyond the in-your-face guitar shredding and cocky attitudes to become a more well-rounded band capable of writing both heavy and soft songs. I loved hearing the line, "Fuck Donald Trump, give me Bernie Sanders" in the song Back from the Dead. It was current and it's political and it's a straightforward opinion, which is awesome. Great songwriting, as I said.
Need more of that.
Yeah, exactly, especially in these current times. If you've heard their previous self-titled release, you'd know that some of the production tricks they use in their songs, they add some noises and some kind of scratching to the vocals here and there. They used it a bit on this album too, not as much as on the previous one. Usually stuff like that shits me, but it really works in how this band do it. And aiming towards the young audience that they're appealing to, kids grow up with technology. It's just something that... So if you're aiming for a young audience, you need something like that in there. And it works for an old fart like me too. Having said that, there's some very pure acoustic songs and great performances on this album as well. I like how the band keeps growing and becoming a much better, well-rounded band. I keep saying that, but it's very true. Santa Cruz, the self-titled album, impressed the hell out of me. And their first album, Screaming for Adrenaline, was really good as well. There's a lot of young bands taking on the old school approach, but this band is taking what's been done before and forging ahead with something new.
It's like Eclipse and
Heat.
Heat, yeah.
Yeah, it's that whole European thing happening. They've tapped into... The water's been tapped into or poisoned or something. It's good. Old school hard rock with a modern attitude and production. Now, Appetite for Destruction is no doubt a classic album, but if you want to know everything that Guns N' Roses can do, you would go to Use Your Illusion. Bad Blood Rising is like that. So Screaming for Adrenaline and the self-titled Santa Cruz album are fantastic, but this takes them to a whole new level. I gave it 10 out of 10.
Nice.
Young Blood Rising, River Phoenix, Fire Running for Our Veins, Breath, Voice of a New Generation, Back from the Dead, and Get Me Out to California.
It's almost the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
For me, I found this to be some high-octane hard rock is what I put this down as. It's got a bit of the whole war cry element in it. Certainly a case of go hard or go home with this album. Some great pounding riffs and some pretty blistering solos too. Some of it almost feels a bit like they've gone for the Dimebag style with the guitar work.
Just letting it rip, tearing it up.
Yep. The opening track sets the overall tone of a youthful uprising. However, there's a fair bit of diversity on this with some nice softer moments and nice use of tempo changes. And the energy on this is quite addictive. It's a good one to pump yourself up with. Great track order. They've really laid it out well. It's got the perfect length for this album. They nailed the album craft down just fucking fantastically. There are touches of things like piano at the right times. It's done really well, and the production aids that. Overall, the production's pretty fucking good. It's hard to fault it. It might be a touch compressed, but it's not an issue. There's still plenty of headroom overall, and space in the mix. The layering's fantastic, so it sounds good. The songwriting is fantastic though. Very, very well done. Great hooks, great use of space in that element as well. It's got good value on repeat listens. You can see that these will also go really well in a live environment. The only knock I have in that regard though is with some of the lyrics. In my opinion, which you're going to disagree with, tracks like River Phoenix would have been fantastic with different lyrics.
Okay.
I don't get the point of that song in particular. The fact that you get it near the start and then you follow up at the end of the album with a different version of it. makes me wonder what they were trying for with that. And it's sort of like I didn't quite get the context of it. Maybe I didn't quite grab it, but it just felt odd. They're trying to channel River Phoenix in a song.
Plus, they probably wouldn't have even been born when he died.
Exactly. So I'm like, this doesn't quite make sense. He starts off with, this one's for you, River Phoenix, or my brother, or my bro. I don't know. He paraphrases it, and it's like, not quite for me. My opinion, whatever. Just didn't get it. Apart from that, though, there is a cheese expected with the ballads. But it's expected, and it's honestly well done. Apart from that gripe I have on, like, maybe some of it's a bit cheesy, and the River Phoenix stuff. The lyrics overall, though, fucking fantastic. Really well done, especially considering it's not their native language. So you've got to give them credit there. Another thing they've done really well is apply and then pull back the reverb in parts, really emphasise certain moments in the songs. It's really artfully done, and even the cowbell is done well in this record.
More cowbell!
Yeah. The performances are all fantastic. The product is cohesive and sounds good. Not much to pick on faults-wise, and I'm being picky anyway by my personal tastes, not to do with their ability in any way. And I love how the production and the band seem to have completely worked hand in hand on this record. It's almost another instrument, simply with the way the different tones are being applied in songs, different instruments are used. It's all cohesive. It's one big team performance, which you don't get a lot of these days. This one has done that really well. And there's a lot to really take in on this. Great repeat listen, like I said, but there's a lot of ear candy there that you'll hear different things, different times, different layering, different weight. Like you'll hear the song differently, like with headphones and speakers and stuff. You'll hear different things. Great way to have some seriously classic influences but grow beyond them, like you were saying. They've done that well, and I love how all the different members get to shine in their own way at different times. If you like solid hard rock with great hooks, melody and riffs, you're going to really want to add this to your collection. It grows more on you over time as well. I gave it a 9 out of 10, even with my gripes. Young Blood Rising, Drag Me Out of the Darkness, Voice of the New Generation, Pure Fucking Adrenaline,
great
and
song.
Get Me Out of California were my standouts.
Fuck, I didn't have Pure Fucking Adrenaline as a standout. It's a standout.
Well, there you go.
Fucking hell, it's a standout.
Anyway, check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think.